Hail and welcome to Witching Out Loud, the podcast where we celebrate the art of witchcraft and conjuring magic in your daily life. Join us for a cozy chat about witchy ways and practical woo-woo.
I'm Crystal with Unveiled, necromancer, spiritual trainer, and mentor.
And I'm Kate, priestess for hire and an intuitive tarot reader.
I'm very excited today to be speaking with Tracey. She is a certified HeartMath practitioner in trauma and intervention, yoga trainer, Reiki master, teacher, and an ordained shamanic minister. I have had the pleasure personally of working magic and ritual with Tracey, and so I'm excited to introduce all of you to her and her approach of blending HeartMath, nervous system regulation, which you know I love, with spirituality and overall health and wellness. I'm going to start us off with a heart coherence meditation. So take a moment to just sit. If you're out walking, maybe find a little tree to sit under and pause a little bit. So we're going to take a nice moment here to just ground and center. Place your hand over your heart if that feels comfortable. I like to put both of them over my heart for this one, so I can just feel the deepening of that breath. And I want you to just notice your breath right now. Begin just noticing how it feels, moving in your body. And then begin to breathe a little slower and deeper than your normal breath. Imagining that breath moving in and out through the heart area. Breathe in and out, slowly and controlled. 5, arriving. 4, softening. 3, deepening. 2, listening. 1, present. Now bring to mind something simple that gives you a feeling of joy, appreciation, even steadiness, groundedness. It could be a person, a pet, a place in nature, or even a memory of a moment of peace. And as you breathe, just notice what shifts. Maybe your body softens. Maybe your thoughts slow down. Maybe nothing dramatic happens, and that's okay too. Sit in this moment present with your breath, breathing in, let out, go. In, let out, go. Let go. This is not about forcing your heart to do anything. It's about listening to the body, letting it guide the nervous system gently, and practicing presence with yourself. Take one more breath here. Let your system find the rhythm that is right for you. 1, releasing. 2, steady. 3, returning. 4, aware. 5, present. Now, when you're ready, bring your attention back to the room, steady and grounded. For our listeners out there, maybe take a moment to write down some thoughts that came up in there and know that you can always go back to that place. And I know Tracy's going to teach us way more cool tricks. So, hail and welcome to Witching Out Loud, Tracy. I'm so excited you're here.
I am so excited too. I'm so honored to be in this beautiful, energetic, what do you call it? The web space with you. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. And, I know about you, but what might our listeners want to know about you and how you got to this magical path?
So I am a heart math practitioner. All the things that you already said. My path started out with Reiki, evolved into learning witchcraft. I went 7 years in a mystery school, and then kind of switched my path to more of a shamanic path and the Toltec ways, Don Manuel, Albert Villado, and like Linda Starwolf, Venus Rising. I'm ordained shamanic minister with them. The biggest thing for me, the shift for me was with death and duality. My mom had passed away. Well, actually, my mom and dad both passed away of cancer within 3 years of each other. So my brother and I and my children went through a lot of heartache. I mean, that's hard when people you love are suffering from cancer and then ultimately die from that. It's a hard path. But after my mom passed, my brother asked me a question that shifted my life for the next 8 years up until right now. And it's a question that not only guides my life, but also has helped me make some of the biggest transformations and also gotten me through some of the darkest, hardest times in the last 8 years since our parents passed away. And then that question was, you have a newfound freedom, sis. What are you going to do with it? And
Mm.
that was not something that I was ready to hear in that moment. I was a caretaker. I only knew how to be mom and daughter, right? Like my life was wrapped up in my parents. I never moved away. I always stayed within 10 minutes, at the most 45 minutes away from my parents. My brother, on the other hand, he went out into the world straight out of high school. He went to different universities. He got his master's degree. He learned how to play three different string instruments. He hosted his own radio show in Tennessee and met the love of his life later, had a child later in life where I started life as a mom at 17. I went to college later in life, started in my 30s, finished in my 40s. And we had completely different paths. And when he asked that question in the moment, it just didn't feel right at that time. But it has been in the back of my mind so many different times. And one of them was moving on to study witchcraft. We were raised Methodist in white suburban outside of St. Louis in the 80s. We grew up in the kind of subdivision where you went home when the street lights came on. And it was also still a community back then. Like it's the subdivision that doesn't exist anymore. We had neighbors that showed up for us and we showed up for them. Enrolling into the mystery school was a huge step for me. And I did that within probably less than a year after my mom passed away. And the mystery school opened up so many things in my life, in my mind, everything from Hinduism, Buddhism. There's just so many different paths to learn and the duality.
I'm curious, how was that coming from this very religious Methodist mindset to open up to all these different worldviews? And like, what was the biggest, like, what's happening here?
So for me, it was just, I was awestruck. Honestly, I was awestruck. My parents weren't the kind of parents that would have said I couldn't do this. You just would have known they didn't approve. That's it. And my mom actually, I think, would have encouraged me to learn more because my shifts were so positive that my mom changed as well and spoke more positively. I'd already started some of that transition from starting Reiki, and
Right?
I love sharing that with other people and teaching. And I love watching their eyes light up like, oh my God. I just recently shared puppets with someone. And after she read some of the material I gave her, she's like, oh my God, this isn't anything like what I thought it was. She's like, I can't wait to make my first puppet. So,
And for everyone listening, Tracy's the one that got me to make my first poppet.
yes, yes, we loved that. And it's just, there's so many rabbit holes that you can go
Mhm.
down. And I kind of start to go down one really, really, really deep. And then I'm like, oh, wait, but here's another one. I love sharing that with other people because it is exciting. And the duality thing, it has its dark sides too, because it reveals truths that sometimes we're not ready to hear.
Mm,
And that's hard.
yeah.
Witchcraft at its core teaches us to honor the cycles of life. Death isn't the ending. And I had to learn that my parents physically are not here anymore, but the love and the seeds that they planted inside of me are. And that growth, that person that I was, I can still honor the person that I was while I'm becoming the person that I want to be. And that's something that I love to help other people accept. I love coaching them into that place of embracing who they were and loving all of those pieces of who they were while they become the person they want to be.
Thank you for sharing that, Tracy. What in that story kind of led you down the path to HeartMath?
So that was actually probably 10 years before my parents died. I had suffered from severe anxiety and panic disorder since my early 20s. And I had two cousins that had the similar issues. And they saw a doctor here in St. Louis. His name was Dr. Abramson. Um, and he introduced me to HeartMath. First, he helped me discover that I was breathing completely wrong. I was breathing with my chest. That in itself was causing me to have the panic attacks to the
Really?
level that I was having the panic attacks. So we spent a month retraining myself to gut breathe. And that one step in itself changed my life. And then we moved into what he called heart math. So the 20-year gap from when I first learned the lessons he taught me to now, I can label and identify what he was doing through my training at the Institute. But at the time, I didn't know. So he did teach me how to do the heart focused breathing. And then he taught me what I teach my clients as internal weather mapping. And it's kind of like a little T, and you've got this map, whoop, goes straight up and down. And all the way on this side, you've got all the negatives. On this side, you've got all the positives. And then you got the line in the middle. And so on both sides, you've got your highs and your lows, right? So all of our emotions, we can be sad and it's down here, or you can be angry and that's up here, or you can have joy, but it's a calm, peaceful joy, or you can have joy and it can be exciting and you're energetic. So I use that as a weather map and those four quadrants to help people identify what they're feeling. And that's what he taught me how to do. We started with cognitive distortions. We started identifying what cognitive distortions I was having. And then we did some educational pieces around shifting that. And then we would take those distortions, link them to an emotion, and put them on a map. And in heart math, we teach you how to shift from a depleting emotion to a rejuvenating emotion.
I like that you call it depleting or rejuvenating versus positive negative. Love that. Like there's so many things we put this like bad spin on. Like that puts a really nice, healthy spin on it. I like it.
Heart math has a lot of that kind of language,
Nah,
and I love
I
it.
love it.
Yeah. Um, But I never really thought much more about it. It just became a part of me 20 years ago. And then I started learning self hypnosis, and then I started learning Reiki. And then Reiki led to the mystery school, led to shamanism. And then I went to school for nutrition and got my degree in nutrition. And then that led me to becoming a heart math practitioner, getting the two certifications with them.
Now, can you define for us, like, what is heart math? So, for those of us who don't know and have not experienced it, like, what is heart math?
The easiest way for me to talk about what heart math is is to do a demonstration on the heart focused breathing technique and then move into what we call the heart lock-in technique. There's many aspects inside of HeartMath where we use a heart rate variability monitor if you can be with us in person,
Mm.
or you can get your own device that goes to your phone and then we can help train you how to use that heart rate variability to, yeah, the best way would be just to
Let's do
start
it.
with that heart focused breathing. So closing your eyes, open your mind, open your heart, and simply follow the sound of my voice. Bringing your attention to the area of your heart. Begin taking slow, intentional breaths. Breathing in and out. As you breathe in, imagine your breath moving through your heart space. Begin creating an even rhythm. We suggest you breathe into the number of 5 and out to the number of 5, or whatever number works for you. Allow your breath to slow and steady, continuing this even breathing, focusing back on your heart space. Imagine your heart space expanding with each breath. Our hearts are the strongest muscle in our body. Its magnetic field extends approximately 3 feet beyond your body, 360 degrees around you. Imagine that heart energy expanding around you, creating a space of connection and awareness. Now I want you to bring a feeling of joy into that space, making a sincere attempt to experience a rejuvenating feeling, such as appreciation or care for someone or something. You can try to re experience a moment in time, a feeling you have for someone you love, a pet, a special place, or an accomplishment. Again, bringing the feeling of joy into your heart space. Imagine that energy is growing. It's expanding from your heart, moving outward around your body, 360 degrees around you, creating your own energetic field. Now I want you to give that feeling a color. What color represents the joy, gratitude, or love you are feeling in this moment? Continuing your even breathing. As you breathe in and breathe out, allow the feeling of joy to move throughout your body and your energy. And when you are ready to radiate that joy out to your loved ones, you may do so. Imagine it filling them up with joy and love. See that color all around them. Staying in that moment, filling yourself up, filling up your loved ones. Now notice what happens when you intentionally bring your awareness back to your heart. How does your heart space feel? How does your inner energy feel? And when you feel ready, gently bring your attention back to the present moment.
That's lovely. Thank you. As you were going through it, I was like, how did I manage to write my invocation that almost perfectly lines up with your demonstration? This you'll find funny. I took the heartbeat control that we learned in the mystery school, and I wanted to soften it for this episode. So I took that same exercise and then softened it
Oh,
to
okay.
make that invocation. And I'm like, wow, I was doing heart math and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, and in some of our magic work we've done together, I've used this practice quite a few different
Hmm.
times. I
Yeah.
use it a lot.
Beautiful. I really liked that feeling of kind of pushing that joy that out into that heart field and then sending it out to the loved ones. Like I really felt that just radiate out. It was gorgeous. Thank you.
Yeah, and so we have many other techniques that we teach in our heart math sessions. There's so many things, and the thing that I love about psychology and heart math is like heart math. I feel like for me is the bridge between psychology and mystery
Mm,
because witches of old knew so many things already about what science is just now proving about the breath, about our minds, about herbs and the energetic forces in our bodies, the energetic forces that come from stones and how they can shift things in your life. It's a bridge that helps me share and put my touch of magic in it with the psychological science together
hmm.
that helps
It's
people.
like the way I mix my neuroscience. So I, do trauma therapy, trauma informed therapy using neuroscience. And I love blending that with witchcraft because it really is the same thing, right? Science and magic are supposed to go hand in hand because we can affect those neural pathways through magic, through meditation, through breath work. So, yeah, it's really beautiful practice.
Yeah, and the art of meditation has always been something I have struggled with. The one thing that I learned is that everything is a form of meditation, but being able to be silent and come into silence in meditation is a vital practice of how we shift. And heart math makes that easier. And if you are consistent, getting one of the heart rate variability devices that you can put on your phone, it's a little thing that clips to your ear and you can like clip it on your shirt and you just breathe with it. A little mandala thing on it and it breathes in and out and the mandala moves. So you just breathe with this mandala. And if you're practicing it and you're practicing the techniques like the three that we just went through, and you're practicing them three times a day, say minimum two, you're going to see a shift in your
Hmm.
life, and shift allows you to make decisions. It allows you to be more present, more focused, more in the moment, more intentional.
Hmm.
And magic, everything's about your intention. And
So as you're doing the heart math, is it about kind of map you said something earlier and then you were talking about the breath. And so is it really using breath work meditation to shift those feelings? Because you talked about tagging the emotion with something. And so you're really using neuroscience to change that neural pathway. Is that what you're doing?
so we have worksheets that, we give the client so that they can actually see the map. It goes across the screen, and up in one quadrant, you have beautiful sky, sun coming down. Then in the bottom lower quadrant, it is a field, beautiful, peaceful looking field. And then on the other side, it's a fog. And then up at the top, it's a storm. And what I do with my clients is I let them pick their own four pictures for those quadrants because some people think a storm is coming. You map out where you're feeling at, and then you learn, okay, so this is where I want to be. Now, how are we going to shift here? And what of the techniques have you learned are we going to use to shift from being angry and now I want to be down here and I want to be in calm peace. Or I'm over here angry and I've got a project I need to do and I need to be up here and I need to have more energy and not raging energy. So, how am I going to shift from anger to having enough energy over here?
Well, where could someone start in heart math? Like if they're like you talked about in the beginning, anxious, I mean, the world is on fire. I mean, literally, Canada is on fire. But, the world is just nuts. There's so many pressures everywhere. There's video cameras everywhere. There's weird politics everywhere. So if someone's feeling all that anxiety and energy, what's something they can do to get out of that reactivity and calm? Like, what's the best little heart math trick for them to do?
To stop and figure out if they're breathing from their chest or from their belly. If your belly is not rising when you're breathing, when you breathe in, the belly comes up. If that's not happening, you need to retrain your breathing because that's the proper way to breathe. And when you're breathing from your chest, that just creates that anxiety. And that is our natural reactive state to go to. I believe probably 90% of the population is walking around breathing in their chest and you don't even realize it. I still do it all the time. And I'm like, wait a minute, oh, my shoulders, like you notice your shoulders are up here
Hmm.
and you can feel coming up into your ears. Like, take that minute, take that beat to check yourself. Okay, whoop, what's going on here? And get yourself breathing from the belly.
Yeah, we did an episode maybe 5 or 6 episodes ago on breath work. And breath work for me is the number one thing I go to when I'm dysregulated. I can't meditate until I'm regulated. Yeah. People are so afraid for their belly to not be flat.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the heart rate variability is huge in helping you bridge that between breath and coherence. It's an easy device that you just clip to your ear. And even inside of the app, it gives you self guided tutorials that you can follow. And it tells you when you're in coherence. And being consistent with those breathing practices, whether it's using the heart math or whether it's just breath work. Because if you're not
Yeah.
breathing, you're not alive. So it only makes sense that everything starts with the breath and ends with the breath. It's the first thing you're ever going to do is breathe, and it's the last thing you're ever going to do is breathe.
Absolutely. And I think also the thought I was having while you were talking about that is so many people actually don't know what's going on in their body. Like they don't know when they're dysregulated. And so that device sounds like it would really help train people on where they feel their stress in their body, when they're really dysregulated, and what it feels like to be regulated, especially for those who come from trauma. It's like, sometimes the dysregulation feels normal. So that feels like it's the regulated spot because that's where we live. And a device like that sounds like a great way to kind of have people teach themselves what's going on in their body. Because that constant dysregulation has health implications, big health implications.
So the heart rate variability, it's our natural variation in the time between each heartbeat. A healthy heart does not beat like the metronome thingy.
Hmm.
There are tiny changes between heartbeats that reflect the communication between the heart, brain, and autonomic nervous system. And through the heart math, we use the heart rate variability as a window into the body's stress response and ability to self regulate. When we experience stress, frustration, fear, or overwhelm, the heart rhythm often becomes more irregular and chaotic. But what I love about the heart math devices is that it is so hard to learn how to meditate. And, like currently right now, I'm working with a clientele that is very much stressed. So being able to have something that they can put on their phone and link into and take a beat and their eyes can actually see something. So this is a app on your phone that you can breathe with, and there is a free version of it as well. And you put your finger on one of the cameras and you can
Hmm.
breathe with that. The paid device that links to your ear is just badass.
Um, that device, is it considered a medical device? Can people use their insurance or HSA
No,
money for stupid.
no, yeah, and I'm
Like our
currently
stupid healthcare system.
Yeah, I know.
Well, what are you working on right now that's really lighting you up?
I love helping people reconnect through heart coherence and what I call the MBS reset, mind, body, spirit reset. When we create coherence between the heart and mind, we can begin to work with the deeper patterns that we're stuck in and identify doors that we can open to create transformation. I currently offer both one on one coaching and group sessions. They're designed for that reconnection with yourself, understanding your patterns, creating meaningful change. So we have what we call as the well assessment. I have a colleague, business partner, friend, and we have a website called wildearth.living. So it's well, if you abbreviate it. And we have what we
I
call
didn't catch that.
well living, and it's also our blog. And we
I
also
love it.
have a well assessment. And in that assessment, we begin mapping out the areas of your strengths and using that as a foundation to support the areas that you want to grow in. So we do an
Mhm.
assessment, a detailed assessment, and we use that to build off of the strengths we identify. We're always able to identify at least some sort of starting point and create a direction that the person wants to work towards. And the assessment alone is usually a huge eye opener for people, even if they decide they're not ready to make any change right now. It's a really good evaluation to let you know where you're at in life and measure all of those important areas that we tend not to
Mhm.
look at.
I like to do that with my coaching clients too. But one of the things I talk about too is we can't always get all of them in balance. Like if I'm focused on my career or hobby, then maybe my like exercise will suffer because I'm more focused over here. And so it's really about, for me, getting people clear and getting myself clear about what's most important to me right now. Like, what area do I want to change right now? And it's going to change from moment to moment of what I want to work on.
This assessment, this identifies why you're coming to me because, like, yeah, I don't understand. Well, emotionally, you are sabotaged. You've got everything going on. You've got the finances, you got the job, you've got the social life, you got all the things, but emotionally, you're carrying too much. So, hey, how are we going to help you restructure that so that you can still keep all of these things going over
Mhm.
here? It can look like physical health. I went to school for nutrition and I can do nutrition counseling. Some people aren't ready to even start there, but they'll find out in the physical domain that, okay, I am neglecting everything over here. No wonder I feel like crap. No wonder my job is starting to suffer right now because I'm not taking care of this. Or hey, like myself, I took on a 9 to 5 job, not really 9 to 5. It's a whole lot more
Yeah,
hours than nine
you're
to
working a lot more than 9 to 5.
5. But 2 years ago, I started a new job and my spiritual practice got shelved. And before I started this job, not my private practice, this is totally separate. I was doing ritual practices weekly. And now I'm like, it's all about becoming the witch and stepping away from my tools. And I am everything I need. I don't need to go outside of myself for things anymore. And I think I've mastered that one. And I'm ready to come back to my tools because I like playing with wands and stones and all of the things,
Who
right?
doesn't?
But yeah, that was an area that I was, and while I'm giving all these assessments, I had to do one on myself to even figure it out. I'm like, oh, okay, we got some work to do here. And one of those frustrations for me has been I've already done so much work. Are you kidding? There's more. Like,
There's always more.
I reached a point though, even though I know that, I just didn't want to do anymore. And I just wanted to be. So you get stuck.
I think that's important to talk about though. And for those listening, it's like your spiritual practice goes through these ebbs and flows, just like everything else in the world. Like there are times I don't do magic either. I'm not doing rituals. I might be doing meditation, but we have to allow ourselves time to even assimilate what we did go learn and get that into our life and allow it to kind of settle. I talk about it like yoga. In your final resting pose, that's designed to help let all the practice you just did settle into your body. And we in this society do not give ourselves time to freaking settle. Like, go learn the new thing and then just let it sit and percolate in your life. And that's still its own magic. It's still its own magic practice.
And, one of the things about the 9 to 5 job that I love with what I'm doing there is I work with people of all different spiritual backgrounds and religious backgrounds. And I just love holding space for them to reconnect with their beliefs and finding that connection again for themselves because this society is moving so fast. And that spirituality factor is like being squashed
Hmm.
for all walks of faith and spirituality. And
By design, because if we're connected with ourselves and we're feeling healed and whole, then we're less easy to control. We're less easy to push into a direction. And through looking at all the heart math stuff that you've been sharing and the meditation that you took us through, like, that's all designed to help us hear our own voice and who we are. And the world it feels like, especially with AI, starting to homogenize us quite a bit. So slowing down and doing some of this heart math and breath work can really help us reconnect with who we really are, what we really believe, and what direction we want to go. Then we add our magic in there and boom, we're cooking with gas.
in like I tell my clients, all clients that I work with, magic is a choice. You can live a mundane life or you can live a life of magic. For me, I choose to live a magic focused life because my words mean everything. They set the intention, the pace for everything that's going on around me. The laws of attractions apply to every one of us. We're not void from that. And I just kind of look at it like that magician, that old school magician with the big tap hat and the little magic wand. Like, you want to abracadabra and here it is. Why not believe in that way? Add that little sprinkle of spice to it. It makes it more interesting,
Exactly.
you
I was
know?
just teaching a class online and someone had this purple ray kind of coming through. And we were talking about when it appeared and what we were going through in the magical practice because it was a witchcraft class. And someone was like, or it could be the more scientific. It's both. It can be both. So just coming up with the science of it, the facts, doesn't negate the magic. We can choose to keep the magic in there.
The deities and all of the mythologies that are out there. There's so many of them. I love studying them. For me, there's
Hmm.
not a deity that I work with, but I do love studying them and I love and honor their existence because if we're thinking about them, we're creating that energy. And what energy do you want to tap into
Hmm.
that makes them feel good? Magic feels good.
There are. I think that was beautiful, Tracy. Thank you. I think the mythology too is a great place for people to start when they're kind of witch curious, if you will, or they want something spiritual but they don't really feel attracted to witchcraft. Mythology can be a way to connect spiritually without having any other practice. Yeah, just breathing with those energies. But
Think
you can get into that energy of that story of what were they protecting or what were they embodying kind of thing. You can step into that energy. So doing that breath work while stepping into some of those energies can help shift from what did you call it? It was the rejuvenating and
depleting.
depleting, right? Can help you step from that depleting energy into the rejuvenation side. Yeah, I love it. Anything else that you'd like to share with everyone?
Share about the space that Sarah and I created called Wild Earth Living. It's a community base. You can work with Sarah and I through groups or individually. We have a lot of free offerings there. We will be starting a live sessions where people can come on and talk with us. And like the subject, I think our first subject's going to be trust. And
Nice.
what does that encompass for people?
Sign me up.
Yay! And just trying to create that connection because while one of the things that Sarah and I both teach is connecting to yourself and regrounding you, but it's also reconnecting to our communities because the tribe is missing and our
It
goal is to
is.
bring the tribe back. So we are co-facilitating a space and our heartfelt attempt to bring the tribe back together, find that place where you belong, and so that people can be heard and share as well.
That's why I started my space on school, the Obsidian Torch Circle, because I want a community and social media is not it. There's some terrible tribes on social media, but the more intentional groups that we can be a
Yes.
part of
And
are
I
going to help us
love
get
that
through this
space, by the
crazy
way.
ass time. What was
Yeah,
that?
I love that space, by the way.
Thank you.
The
I'm
space you're
still
building.
building it, but it's coming together nicely. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, you can go to SKOOL.com and you can search for me, Obsidian Torch Circle. There's a lot of great creators on there and communities, and you can search for whatever you want to do. If it's basket weaving, there's probably a group on school that is doing basket weaving. And you can do, a lot of us have a free space and paid spaces in there. So much like a Patreon or Discord kind of space. But yeah, it's really designed for creators like this.
Sarah, I'm just getting familiar with school. We will probably try and shift the meetings to something like that instead. Um, but that was an interesting introduction. I like that space.
Yeah, it's a cool space and so many wonderful people. Because we need intentional community and tribe, as you said, to connect. Like we're missing it in our world. Once we split off into nuclear families, we've lost that tribal feel. And there's no place that shows it more than in childbearing, because we used to have families and a whole tribe around us to help.
Right?
And now one single woman does it alone. Um, all right. One last question for you. If you could sit down with any historical witch, who would it be and why? And they don't have to be a real witch either. They could be a cartoon.
So the person that I would love to sit down with would be Stevie Nicks. I know she's not a branded witch. It's been insinuated through many social media avenues, I guess you would say. But someone at her age that has the lived experience she has with intention and love and loss and can speak and sing and connect to so many people and bring so many people together. I got goosebumps just talking about her. She's like that tribal elder.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel about her.
Lovely. Lovely. That's a great thing to end on. Thank you so much for coming on here, Tracey, and sharing Heart Math with us and Wild Earth Living and just you and your radiant personality.
Thank you.
Absolutely
Thank you for
blessing now.
having me. I'm so blessed to be here with you.
All right, let's go do witchy shit. Thanks for listening to Witching Out Loud. You can find us at Witching Out Loud on Substack, Blue Sky, Instagram, and Facebook. Follow us for highlights and reminders. Subscribe for witchy tips, seasonal celebrations, and extended show notes. If you love our show and want to support us further, there's an option to support us monetarily on Substack, as well as sponsorships and advertising opportunities. So please share with us how you are witching out loud. Now go do witchy shit.